This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This may look like a sleepy hyena. It is a sleepy hyena, but tucked under her belly is the tiniest little cub suckling the new generation of the Juma clan. So, it's that time of day, everyone. Welcome aboard. It's time for your live safari. As always, everyone, it's a pleasure to have you on board with us. There's 5 different locations across Africa, 6 different vehicles, and you are here with us for what is hopefully going to be a very exciting sunset safari. My name is Lauren. I have Theo on camera, and this hyena, some of you may have not met her before. This is Corky, and it's not too easy to see, but right in her tummy is the smallest little cub. Now, we have been waiting to see this little cub at the den. It's not been easy, and finally, the time has come. So hopefully, not too long, we'll get to see a little head move. But of course, this is happening right here, right now. We want you to talk to us. Send in comments and questions, any questions that you may have about the environment here. You can use the hashtag WildEarth @FC, or you can even send in email to kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. We very much look forward to hearing from you. Now, it's hot today. It's a really, really hot afternoon for winter here in South Africa, and I'm very surprised to see Corky here lying in the middle of the sun. She's not even trying to escape the sun. It's just so exciting that her little cub is there. I promise you, it's just very, very young and very small. It's actually 27 degrees Celsius here today, which is very warm for the peak of winter. And there's 2 other larger cubs inside the den that we haven't managed to see for quite some time. Cookie, you're saying it's so good to see Corky and her cub. Yes, I have been waiting for this moment for such a long time. It's finally arrived. It's finally happened. She's here during the day, which is fantastic news because we thought there was a chance she was actually nocturnally suckling, which means she was coming at night time, avoiding all other interactions with other hyenas. So I'm going to sit here, be patient, and hopefully we'll get a better view of this cub. But for now, we're going to send you across to Nicky, who has cubs of his own.
So talking about cubs, a warm welcome to all of you to Ambient Ngala. We are currently looking at a lioness with 2 young cubs that are currently suckling. So you'll just notice those 2 very bright white bellies, and you might even notice the paws. So they've just turned on the back the one, and they are sucking at the moment. So I'm Nicky. I'm going to be your ranger for this afternoon, and with me on the camera is Owen. So hopefully together we will be able to just show you a bit of what we are looking at currently. So just for now, it's this lioness with the 2 youngsters, and as well as some more members of the pride. So you'll notice just at the back there's quite a few that have turned around onto their backs, and some just lying on the side. Now, this is part of the pride that we refer to as the Birmingham Pride. So it's basically a pride of over 10 lions, and 2 of them are white. So 1 white male and 1 white female, which is really special to follow as well. So with this time of the day, you can imagine with lions, they are pretty lazy animals. And with it being warm, the chances are they're just going to find shade like this and lie down for the next little while. Bearing in mind that over the last few days, they had such an interesting journey, and hopefully we'll be able to share that with you during the next few minutes in that. But eventually, after quite a bit of a walk, they eventually decided to just come and lie down in the shade here, maybe waiting for it just to cool down a bit before they start moving on. Rodley, I do agree with you. There's just a lot of lions everywhere. And just in this view, I counted nearly 12 lions. So there are a few that are behind the bush where we can't really see them from here. But what we really focused on were these two little ones. So for now, while we just appreciate these lions and hopefully see if we can get them while they get up, let's send you across to David, because apparently he also found some lions.
There do appear to be lions everywhere this afternoon. We've just stumbled upon the Nkuhuma Pride, a large pride found out here on the Djuma property in the Sabi Sands. And what a special way to start the afternoon. My name is David Hancock, and on camera we have Craig, and we're going to be exploring the majesty of this bush this afternoon. And starting off with these majestic cats.
That side. So, just wanted to go back to the young cubs. Welcome back to Ambient and Ngala. You'll just notice how this female is just so relaxed at the moment. Now, these youngsters are well over 3 months old. And so what's happening now is their teeth are really sharp. So whenever they try and fight, especially the one on the left there, you'll notice he's a bit of a different color to the one on the right. He's more of a grayish color. It's hard to see with the angle that we're looking at now. But whenever him and his sister do fight for an opportunity to drink, with those sharp teeth, it sometimes irritates the mom. So if they're lying down like this, it's fine. But as soon as they start wanting to drink, they might irritate her and she'll get up and start moving. But you can see she is so relaxed at the moment. Slow breaths, head down. She's probably fast asleep. Dylan, I'm not too sure in the exact amount. I mean, because it all depends from when they were born until now. Because now, whenever they get an opportunity to drink, and the older they get, of course, the more they're going to drink. So what I'll try and do is, I'm not too sure at this particular age they're at now how much they would drink. So I'll have to definitely find that out. And hopefully within our next episode, I'll share that information with everyone.
Talking of drinking milk, someone here is very thirsty. We've finally moved into the shade, and there you go. There's a little cup, everyone. Corky's little one. Very young. I think... Oh. Hello. Say hi to everybody watching SABC. Yes, I think I overestimated how old this cub was when I first saw it. I think it's probably only about 4 odd weeks now. It's very young. Hyena's gestation period is 4 months. So the cubs are actually born a little bit further developed than the likes of lions and leopard, but they're still weak. They still need to be stashed in dens. They can't walk very well. Got really weak back legs. But this one's getting stronger and stronger as the days go on, feeding on one of the richest milk in the entire animal kingdom. Hyenas eat almost everything and anything, which probably means they have a lot of upset tummies. They regularly regurgitate, but they also absorb a lot of nutrients, and therefore they have one of the richest milks. And that's why the young drink the milk for so long. Up to 18 months to 24 months. So that's a really, really long time for a little cub to drink milk from his mum. Ah, this is magical. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to sit and enjoy this moment. You guys are going for a short break, but we'll be right back. But the moment is still continuing. Corky's alert. She's sniffing the air. She always has to be alert, of course, because threats can approach at any point. She's vulnerable, she's lying down, and she's got her offspring under her tummy. What a great way to start this live safari. I'm so excited to show you all. And if you have... Oh, apparently we're not live, everyone. So I apologize to you all in the internet. All of you on the internet, we're not live. So I will be quiet once again. Precious moments are still continuing here in Djuma Game Reserve. What a way to start off the live safari for this afternoon. So if you have any questions that you would like to know about hyenas, please do send them in, and I'll do my very best to answer them. Corky's constantly putting her head up, constantly smelling, looking around. Anything can happen at a hyena den. Now, believe it or not, a little bit of background on Corky for you all. Corky used to be the matriarch before Ribbon. Yes, she used to be the top, at the very, very top of the ladder and rule the roost. Now, Celine, you were asking how old she is. We think she was born in approximately 2009, 2010. So she's about 9 or 10. And Corky's an old girl. And she's done very, very well. She's had a very tough life. She's been attacked by a male lion. She's been attacked by other hyenas. And she's gone from being very, very sort of high ranked at the top to the very, very bottom. We believe that Corky here could be the lowest ranker of all the hyenas in the Djuma clan. So she's gone from, well, riches to rags, not rags to riches like Ribbon did. She's gone the opposite way. So we haven't actually had any interactions with Ribbon and Corky. But I imagine Corky will be very, very submissive to her in all the behaviour. And of course that means the little cub will be low ranked too. It's a silver spoon effect. She will be lower than her mother. So I'm going to sit here and enjoy these precious moments.
Well, we are still here with the Nkuhumas. As I was saying, what a spectacular pride. Quite large in number. And very powerful. They made short work of that buffalo they ate a couple days back. Just finished it up this morning. Nothing but scraps left on the carcass. But with this many lion, it takes a lot of meat to feed them. Rosalind, you've asked how many male lion are in this pride. Now, Rosalind, I'm not the best one to ask because I'm a guest presenter and I don't spend too much time here, but from the limited time I have had with the Nkuhumas, I believe there are 2 Avoca males that walk with them. Blondie and Mohawk, if I'm not mistaken. There's one male lion right in front of us here. It's lying in the deep grass. I was chatting about it this morning. This yellow grass is my favorite time to view lions in the dead of winter because they blend in so well and they just look like they really belong in that grass. So camouflaged. Well, I'm going to sit here a bit longer, see if there's any movement. What a lovely spot to be.
So earlier with Dave, he was mentioning how well the lions blend in, especially to the environment. So there is also a male lion lying down here, but I just wanted to show you quickly the color of this male, and as well as looking at his mane, how it blends into the grass in this area. Now, from where the pride's lying down, you'll notice off to the right there's another individual, and if you notice, like from the right, that's where his back leg, his rump area is, and then going to the left, You might notice a little bit of the mane as it disappears into the grass, but look at how well camouflaged. You might even see the ear right in the middle. Do you see where that branch is above the head? Now if you go down maybe a hand, the length of a hand, you'll notice that there's a bit of black, so that's the ear of that lion. But very well camouflaged. Now most of the pride here is also the way they're lying down, is they're lying down with their feet up into the air, and one of the reasons for that is maybe because they've made a kill recently and they've been feeding quite a bit. It's a bit more comfortable to lie down with their legs up in the air like that.
Good afternoon. It is good to see you all again at Swala Kalahari. My name is Dylan. For those of you who don't know who I'm at, it is just fantastic that you can all join us on these safaris. I don't have a particular plan for this afternoon. I just know it's going to be an amazing day out here. The temperatures are picking up so quickly now compared to what they were even a week ago. The mornings are still nippy, but the temperature now where I'm standing is probably about 23, 24 degrees, give or take, centigrade. So it's actually warming up, and that does worry me a little in terms of trying to find these little creatures like our African wildcat, my nemesis at the moment. These things tend to be nocturnal, but in these cold winter months they come out during the day, late in the afternoon. So with these kind of temperatures, it's almost at the point where that behavior is going to be shifting back to being completely nocturnal. But we'll be out, we'll give it a good bash. There's a waterhole down the road, so I might take a turn past that waterhole, see if there's anything of interest down there. And but yeah, it's really amazing having you along.
Good luck with your search for wildcats, Dylan. That's not an easy mission. My mission was slightly easier. Coming here and, of course, finding mother and offspring at the den. Now, it'll be a while before we can estimate the sex of this little cub. It's not easy. It's really not easy. Male and female genitals are very similar, as some of you may know. So it takes a lot of observations and a lot of, well, zooming in to try and establish if it's male or female. We're hoping it's a female because the Djuma clan needs more females around, but there's a chance that it could be male, of course. 50-50, who knows? I'm gonna hope for female. But the cubs are actually born with their eyes open, completely different from lions and leopards, and they're also born with canines erupted, their teeth erupted from the gums, and they're quite aggressive. They can be very aggressive within twin litters, but for some reason Corky only has one. So did one die? Sorry about that, that's my game drive video. Did one die during the birthing process? Or did she just give birth to one? We have no way of knowing. But generally speaking, hyenas give birth to twin litters. Tell me, you're asking, is Corky, skinnier than the other hyenas? Corky used to be huge. In her prime, Corky was a big girl. There was no mistaking her. I really believe she's lost a lot of muscle mass. She was injured, she's now low ranked, and I think that's caused her to lose a lot of muscle mass. But she's still big, and she's much bigger than the males. She's still got that status of being a female in a matriarchal society, and she's definitely bigger than the immigrant males that we have. But in comparison to before, I'm afraid she's definitely got skinnier, yes, and she doesn't have the same sort of presence as she used to. And that will be down to what she's been through and the fact that she's well aware she's no longer at the top. She's sadly at the bottom. But every hyena should get their turn. I remember when Corky was at the top, she did used to bully the lower ranked hyenas, and that's how it goes. You've got to constantly assert your dominance. You've got to constantly let everyone else know in the society that you're the boss. Zoe, I agree. This cub is so cute. It's so small. And the interesting thing, we were discussing this morning, is that the cub spends a lot of time with the two older boys. And the two older boys belong to Ribbon. They're in the same den. It's a communal den. And they're very, very gentle with her. Him. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying she. Maybe I'm going to will it into existence to be a girl. But yes, they're very, very gentle with this little one, which is interesting to see. And the more time you spend at a den, the more time you watch hyenas, the more you learn. I personally believe there's a lot we still have to learn about these spotted creatures. And hopefully it's going to get a little bit cooler soon. It's very hot here. And maybe some other hyenas will come around and we can get some interactions. So that's exactly why I'm going to sit tight. I'm not going anywhere, but you lot are. You'll be back with us very shortly.
Welcome to Djuma with the Nkuhuma Pride. Lovely to have all you viewers from the internet with us this afternoon. We have spent the last few minutes with this large lion pride, the Nkuhumas. Nice and full from last night's buffalo. They haven't done much moving. Just moving from shade to shade, digesting. It's a very warm afternoon for this time of year. So they have been enjoying the shade, although these ones on the left appear to be after the sun. They're kind of all around us here. And welcome back to our sleepy lions. It's a lion cuddle puddle. See that big male lying there on the arm of that female lioness. Just enjoying the shade. Very different look to when they are agitated and staring at you through the long grass. This is rather the typical sleepy lion, no worries in the world look. David, you reckon this is a comfy lion? It is a very comfy lion, lying on its friend. Look at those feet. Greg, can you zoom in on one of those paws? Look how incredible those pads are. Such a majestic creature. As they lie about here on the soft sand, let's send you over to Nikki.
Now I'd like to put out a little challenge to all our viewers. So we are currently looking at some dung here in the road. But what I would like to challenge you on is to try and identify or try and tell me what you think, what animal made this particular dung, or what to who does this belong. Now I'll give you some clues before I just carry on. Now this is one of the animals we are going to be looking out for in this heat of the day. Now basically if I look on the inside of this dung, there's a lot of leaves, there's branches, and there's also like little twigs as well as blades of grass. Might even be some berries in there. But what What happened here is, so the dung normally looks like it's these massive barrels, and then as it was driven over, some of the birds might have just spread it a little bit to look for some of the seeds or possibly some insects that might have been attracted to the dung. There's actually a track of this animal right over here. But as I said, the clues are, normally this time of the day when it's nice and warm, it goes to the water to drink. Quite a large animal, and the detail inside of it, of course, it's leaves, grass, twigs, and probably even strips of bark. But we'll definitely, let me know what you think it is. Please send in your questions, and hopefully we'll get to figure out what animal this is. Sharana, it is definitely a herbivore of some sort. Now, the question is which one? So in the meantime, we're going to carry on with our drive, and hopefully we'll be able to see this herbivore. I think I might even see this herbivore. Mr. Wild, that was was that a good guess, or did you just know that? But it is an elephant. Well done. Because especially when you look at some of the bigger herbivores that could have, like these massive barrels of dung, could be something like a black rhino, maybe a white rhino, maybe elephants. And with black rhino, they mainly eat leaves and small twigs. White rhino eats grass, but something that has a combination of both is definitely the elephant. So well done on that. Now let's see if we can find these elephants, especially if we head down towards the waterside. Now there are tracks, and in the meantime, while we are talking about particularly rhino, let's send you across to Ambion-Phinda and hear what's happening on that side.
Good afternoon, and as Nikki says, we have managed to find some white rhino. My name is Clive, though. We are coming to you live from Ambion-Phinda Private Game Reserve, and behind the camera we have Marcel. So we've been exploring a bit of a different part of the reserve today, or this afternoon should I say, to where we were this morning, just to see what we can find this afternoon. And first things first, some white rhino. First things we've found. Really, really nice to find them like this. So the big one, you can see the one in the middle is quite a bit bigger than the other two. That will be the mother. And then one of them, it's a little bit hard to tell. Normally the smaller one though, probably the one on the left, would be her calf. And then the one on the right will be another calf that she's kind of adopted. So a nice little trio of rhino. You can see. Camo Pug, you're saying it's your favorite animal. That's awesome. I'm so glad we could show you your favorite animal then. You can see on the back of the mother as well, there's a little bird sitting on her back, and that's an oxpecker, a red-billed oxpecker. I'm sure you would have seen them on some of the other animals as well, all over South Africa, sitting on things like buffaloes and impala and kudu. Lots of different animals. How beautiful that we get to spend time with these animals like this though. So as you can see, all three of them are just quietly putting their head down and just feeding as they go, feeding on the grass as they go. Really nice. Anyway, I'm going to sit here a bit longer and we'll send you across to Dylan with another nice sighting.
We've just got a herd of gemsbuck moving down to the water, or perhaps they've just come from the water. The dam is only about 100 yards away from us, out to our right, but we'll pop down there just now. And these gemsbuck are remarkably well adapted for these arid areas. And in fact, they don't need to drink water. They normally get most of their water requirements from the plants, the vegetation that they eat. And they've got a number of really interesting physiological adaptations to prevent water loss as well. We can chat about that more at length later. But they do drink water. We've got some species that I've never seen drinking water, and you know, the literature says they don't. But you know, you got to take that with a pinch of salt as well. You know, for many years, people said aardvark don't drink water. Well, we've got so many photographs of aardvark drinking water. So it's just interesting. You know, often the literature is pertaining to a study or something done in a particular area. So you just got to keep your eyes open. Those of you that are going to national parks or reserves anywhere, you will be very surprised just how valuable citizen science is in terms of recording and logging interesting sightings.
So these elephants are also probably looking for water. They're just dusting themselves in this very dry and hot winter's afternoon in this little drainage line here. But I suspect they'll move to water at some point later this afternoon, which will be absolutely fantastic, because it is a good afternoon to have a nice cold drink. Hi, my name is Mike, and behind the camera we've got Seb, and you're joining us here at Eco Training's Pridelands Conservancy. It's really wonderful to have you. And as I said, we've come all the way from our camp, the other side of the reserve, to check on the water holes, because it's a hot afternoon. We think that the animals will be likely focused around the water holes, and we've come lucky because we've got this really big herd of elephants just here in front of us, including, although he's moved off just to the right now, hopefully we'll get to show you him just now, that really big elephant bull Kumo that we saw last time we were here at this area. Seems like he's been following these elephants. So that is another elephant bull over there, just socializing with another elephant, maybe a young female. We've seen a whole group of bulls, maybe 4 or 5 of them moving in this area, and they've finally joined up with the herd, which is good. Now it's time for socializing. These elephant bulls don't often spend too much time with females because they're not yet old enough or big enough to mate yet, and especially big elephants like Kumo will keep them moving. As you can see here, we haven't really seen elephants moving their ears like this much over the last few days. Because it's nice and hot today, they're flapping their ears quite a lot in order to be nice and cool, not keeping their ears tight to their sides. And this is an old female walking through here. We heard her do a bit of a rumble a moment ago. She might be one of the older females in the group, leading them where they need to go. Looks like she's got a youngster following right behind her. See that? That's her baby. Terry, it is a lovely afternoon. I'm glad that you like it. I hope it's just as lovely where you are, but this elephant herd is making me just so content right now. It's probably one of the 2 herds. Oh, in fact, that one that's following behind her is the leucistic one, the one that's really pale in color. That's pretty cool. I'll try and see if we can get a closer look at it. There's one of them that has sort of pink patches on its ears and also red eyes, which is quite rare. Hopefully we'll get to have another look at it. We're just having a look at what looks like a baboon at the very top of this tree. Now you can see it's all by itself because there's no other ones around, even on the base of the tree or around. So I wonder if this one wasn't separated from the troop. With those lions in the area, there's a good chance the lions could have chased them, and then this one got separated, and now because it doesn't know where the troop is, it's moved all the way to the top of the tree and using this as a vantage point just to scan to possibly see where the rest of the troop might be. How beautiful is that tree? The tree that it's sitting in now at the moment. I just want to grab my binoculars just to double check, but it does look like what's known as a knobbed thorn. It is. I just wanted to double check.
I would just love to remind all the viewers that if you have any questions, please feel free to send them in either to hashtag Wild Earth on Instagram or at FC for YouTube and Twitter. And we'd love to hear from everyone, what some of your thoughts, maybe some comments, or better, some questions. Now I nearly said vervet monkey again. I think the reason being for that is because earlier on we saw some vervet monkeys in the distance. But with this baboon, it's just currently scanning above the top of the trees. Now, earlier on it looked like it was staring more towards the back from where we are looking at it now. But now it's almost scanning over us. So definitely separated from the rest of the troop. Because often with baboons, they are very social animals. And their troops can be up to 100 individuals within an actual group together. So seeing one all by itself like this, very strange. Now, also noticing that just here at the back, there are also some baboon tracks on the road. So maybe, as we mentioned earlier, the whole troop might have moved through here. And as they moved through, with those lions being around, probably chased this particular one. And, of course, being a big tree in the area, decided to go and take cover up in the very top of that tree. But in the meantime, I think from here on, I'll just slowly carry on to see what else we can find in the area. But in the meantime, from there on, let's head across to Dylan.
It's pretty cool. We came down to the water thinking I might get some gemsbuck going to drink, or maybe a giraffe or two, and there's a herd of buffalo. So they've just come up from the water. There's actually still some mud on them. And out of frame across to our right, there's one actually in some thick bush that's actually scratching its horns and making a real knocking sound. That big tree at the back over there, you can just see it. There's a bit of movement there. There's a big buffalo bull directly at the base of that tree. So unfortunately, our mics can't pick it up from that distance, but he's making all these knocking sounds as he's hitting the branches with his horns. But these ones are onto an old tree stump here, and you can see why they call them rubbing posts. A lot of guides will talk about a rubbing post, and that's what it is. And they often get incredibly rounded off and smoothed, as if you've, worked it down properly with sandpaper until very, very fine and shiny. So on Swali, with all these hills that we got here, along the bases of these hills, you actually get these big boulders. Roshni's asking, why do I get the feeling that buffalo looks so much better at Swali? Roshni, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be able to answer you that, but these ones are actually pretty round. There's this very, very, like that's a youngster. He's in good condition. There's another one close by, an older one that's starting to show some proper signs of wear and tear. His horns are wearing off, bit of hips showing. But otherwise, they're all good and fat and round and good lion food. But along the base of the hill, speaking of rubbing posts, you often get these massive boulders that have tumbled down over millennia. And you got these boulders that have been rubbed completely smooth. Looks like they've been polished, these huge boulders. And that's from thousands and thousands of years of large game in the area.
This little one is not stopping. It's full of beans. It's been round the den and back round again and back round again while Mama snoozes. Not the best views, but there's no point in us turning on the car right now. Getting very brave, and I think it's learning from the two older boys. Oh. But I must say it has to be careful. It's very small and easy pickings for many predators out here, even aerial predators in the form of birds of prey. But generally, hyenas have a really long life. They can live for up to 20 years in the wild, despite having a real dangerous lifestyle of hunting and scavenging, which exposes them to a huge range of pathogens. They actually have a very long life in the wild. And their immune system is it's a hot topic in science these days, because they're very socially complex animals that integrate and constantly communicate and surround themselves with one another. And yet, They never seem to be affected by diseases which wipe out their competitors, such as rabies, anthrax, canine distemper. They show extraordinary resilience to these diseases and is all believed to be in their immune system and their stomach acid. They also recover really quickly from lion attacks, just like Corky, broken bones, open wounds. They have a really, really strong immune system and a stomach acid that's so low on the pH scale, it's extremely acidic, way more acidic than our stomach acid is. Tony, you're asking, are low-ranking animals allowed to breed? Well, let's just talk about hyenas for now. So this is Corky, and she is who we believe to be the lowest ranking hyena in the entire clan. So she doesn't get first access to food. She will be bullied. She won't be treated that well by other high-ranking individuals. But yes, she's allowed to breed because it contributes to the survival of the clan. More numbers. It contributes to the entire Djuma clan. So yeah, she's allowed to breed, but unfortunately she really doesn't sit that high up. Oh, I think this little one is cleaning its mother's bottom. How kind. So I'm going to try and keep up with this little one because, well, it's full of energy now. So we're going to sit tight and wait and see what happens.
All right, welcome back again. And these rhinos are still just slowly grazing through this little grassland. Now, I know Nikki was talking about elephant dung and rhino dung just now. And since we're with white rhino, I thought I would show you quickly a white rhino's dung. So if you break it open, inside here is all just grass. Everywhere you can see is all grass. I'm sure Nikki would have explained that to you. And he was explaining the difference between this and the black rhino would be that there are sticks in the black rhino's dung because that's what it eats. So, and also this very dark, almost black color on the outside is very typical of white rhinos. It's getting confusing with all the black and the white. But yeah, this very dark color of the dung is very typical of a white rhinos. So I thought I'd show you that quickly while we're sitting with some white rhinos. Such a beautiful view. Look at that. You can see quite easily when you're looking at them right out in the open like this. Michelle, you don't have to worry about that. Dung it's literally just grass that's been processed, so there's nothing dirty about it at all. Nothing dirty about it. But I'll wash my hands anyway, just to be safe. You can really see, I was saying just now, you can really see when they're out in the open, that big square mouth of the white rhino as well. Really cool. Oh, they seem to be turning and going off in a different direction now. Oh, Rosemary, I'm glad you're enjoying these. I'm glad you're enjoying this little rhino sighting. It really is special. It's so special to be able to see an animal like this out in its natural environment. Some beautiful birds calling out this afternoon as well. You can see this little drongo just above them. Well, while these rhinos carry on feeding, I'm going to sit here a bit longer and see where they end up.
So just for all the internet viewers, we are currently having a look at that young male leopard, that Mkoti male. And you might just hear the crunching noise as he is gnawing away at this impala carcass. But see how he's just positioned himself. It's really hard to see the rest of him, but just the way he's positioned his foot just over that one branch with his tail supporting him on the back. There's another amazing animal that we were able to see along this river, the Timbavati River. And if you look at the tail here, notice the black rings around it and quite a bit of like white on either side. So this is a leopard, a young male leopard that's currently up in the tree with the impala carcass. Now, if you look off to the right of the screen there, you might just notice just the underside of what looks like a female impala. Now I want to try and be as quiet as possible, just so that you can hear the crunching noise as this leopard is gnawing away at this impala. In the meantime, I just want to spend here a little bit longer to see if we can get another glimpse of him if he starts repositioning himself. But while I do that, let's send you across to Pridelands with some elephants.
So we've got now this whole herd that's slowly moving past us, and we've got her mother with her youngster that's suckling. We've just stopped to have a bit of a top up. You know, it's long and dusty and dry, these walks along the bushveld. I think the mother is running out of milk, though, because she keeps growling at this baby. Oh, that's so cute. I think she's running out of milk, though. She needs to eat and produce a bit more, because she keeps growling at this little one. Oh, look what it's doing with its trunk. It's got an itchy nose. That was so cool. Oh, stuck straight in there again. Look at the trunk. Look at the little tip of the trunk, how it's just fiddling around. That's the cutest thing ever. Oh, boom. See, when they are quite aggressive like that, the youngsters, it's because they're trying to squeeze out the last little bits of the mother's milk. But look, it's going to go to the other side now in the hopes that it maybe can get some this side. See how the mother, I don't know if you heard that, there was a little growl there. She put her leg forward in order to give the baby, oh, I don't know if she wanted to give it access. I don't know if you heard that. She is growling. She doesn't like that at all. She's had enough. It's probably been quite rough now, the baby. Veronica, you're asking if elephants dislike all other family groups, as in family groups of other elephants, I'm assuming you mean? No, not at all. Remember, elephants live a long time and they produce quite a number of offspring during their time. So most of the herds in this area will consist of females that are related in some way. Cousins, sisters, mothers, that kind of stuff. So in fact, just now, Seb and I were sitting and we think there must be at least 2 herds here, because there were a lot of elephants. So we think there was 2 herds, and they were socializing just fine together. So I think they're probably, they don't dislike other families. Of course, there'll be times when maybe there are arguments, as with all families. But no, what they don't like, though, is that big elephant bull who's behind them. That's Kumo. We've seen him before. So Kumo has been sniffing around the females, hoping for mating, and neither of these females are ready for it. And they both growled at him and moved out of the way, just because he is very large. As you can see, he's at least twice the size of these females. And he can get quite... Watch this. He's going to come closer to them again. Let's see what she does. Well, it seems to be tolerating him for now. But when he first turned up, she was very upset. She was growling all sorts. In the meantime, whilst we see how this develops, we're going to send you back over to David with his lions.
There's just been a little bit of lion politics here. You can hear the low grumbling of that male. Something happened between him and the other lioness, and she jumped off and got out of his way. Not sure what happened there. The unspoken lion politics, perhaps. He stepped on her tail. Very interesting, we just witnessed what's known as the Flehmen grimace, where the female that appears to be coming into season urinated, and the male smelt her urine, even licked it a little bit, and then does a funny grimace, where it kind of looks like he's snarling, but what he's actually doing is he's assisting the scent up into his brain. Common with not only lion. Maybe they'll do it again for us and we can have a look at it. As our lion dynamics unfold, I'm going to send you back over to Lauren with her hyena.
I love it when an animal Flehmen grimaces. It's rather bizarre, but of course they're pumping all the chemicals in the air into their mouth to taste their environment. You think an animal's environment they perceive it entirely differently from the way that we do. And hyenas are very olfactory, which means, oh, Corky. I think that little one just got scolded there. It seems to be popping its head into mother's bottom, which is obviously not pleasant. And yes, they're highly olfactory. Hyenas can smell old trails that are days old, days upon days, and they can still smell the blood. They rely heavily on their nostrils. A blind hyena, I think, would survive absolutely fine. Neva, you are right. Ribbon's boys were not as brave at this age, and I think that's because this little one is learning from them. This little one has learned to be brave because she's always had these two boys around her who look after her, and therefore, through learned behaviour, they're doing it, so I may as well do it as well. So Neva, you are right. This little one is very, very brave for his age. And of course, probably extra brave right now because, well, Mum's here. I'm not sure if it would be so brave if Mum wasn't here. And if Corky wasn't here, we wouldn't be here either. We don't stay at the den when there's no adult. Oh, what a fantastic drive, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please do join us tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, goodbye. Welcome everyone, our lovely internet viewers who are still with us. What a drive that was on SABC. My name is Lauren. I do have Theo on camera, and we've spent an hour in the blazing hot sunshine. Yes, it's very hot, watching this tender moment between Corky and the little one. I do think we're going to leave now, just to let Corky sleep and let the little one rest. Not that our presence is affecting them in any way whatsoever, but I think we will leave and just see what else is happening and possibly come back to the den a little bit later. So this is your live safari, of course. Please do talk talk to us, send in all those lovely comments you have. You're welcome to send in sarcastic, funny ones too that make us chuckle, and your questions. Hashtag Wild Earth on Twitter, at FC on the YouTube chat stream, and kids all around the world, please do send in your questions too. Use the email address kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. So, oh, the little one's popping his head out for one last tiny look. We're going to say goodbye to this little one. Theo, it's just there. It's at the hole. We're going to say goodbye to Corky. It's been a pleasure to spend time with her, and we are going to go on a bumboat. You guys are going to go across to Pridelands to say good afternoon to Mike.
Now we're still with these elephants, and the two of them just now passed by us. Actually, we're going to maybe try and turn around. I think our signal is pretty good. I want to show you the size of this elephant that just went past us. It was incredible. This is Kumo. You know Kumo. Oh, we've got dwarf mongoose here as well. Gosh, we've got all this stuff going on. I'm just going to turn us a little bit so you can see. Oh, gosh, no, we're in a bit of a tricky spot. You know what? I'm not going to turn us. We're going to enjoy these two elephants in front, because we've got lots of sickle bush around us and it's a bit tricky. But yeah, we just had Kumo walk right past us, and both of us had to go quiet for a moment because we were like, whoa, big elephant. But he's so chilled, it's ridiculous. And then we've just had these mongoose come and join us as well, who are obviously also thinking that this elephant thing is a riot. See these little mongoose here. These are dwarf mongoose, and they were busy in their den. It's late now, you know, it's in the afternoon, so they're probably coming back after foraging the whole day to rest. And I'm glad we found this. This is maybe quite a big den. It's a big family. You can see they're having a good washing session now. Personal hygiene is very important if you're a mongoose and you live in a family with 20 individuals. Ouch, that looks a little bit painful, I'm not going to lie. If you live in a big family and you all stay underground in the same burrow, there's going to be lots of ticks and parasites, and diseases can spread, as we all know. So they have to keep themselves very clean in order to make sure that they are going to be as healthy as possible. Wow, there's lots of them. This is amazing. So we've gone from basically the largest mammal in the world to the smallest social carnivore and one of the smallest mammals in Africa. Look at this cute little thing. So all these dwarf monkeys are having a big grooming session. There's like a little pile of them there. I can't even count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's at least 10 that we can see just out in the open. That's awesome, and that doesn't include the ones that are probably inside. And the elephants were feeding all around them. I wonder what these small creatures must think when elephants come and start breaking branches all around us, all around them. Must be terrifying. But they're probably used to it, right? Oh, this is adorable. Look at them all. This might be one of the biggest families of dwarf mongoose that I've seen in a long time. Steph, I agree. These are really cute. I mean, they are much cuter than the other mongooses which we get around here. Mongooses, mongooses, I think. The other one that we get here commonly during the day is a slender mongoose, and that one has a really long face and a long body, and it stays alone. It's a solitary animal, so not as cute as these dwarf mongoose. These are the cutest of the mongoose, I think. Banded mongoose are also quite cute, but they're very, very scarce around here on Pridelands. We see them occasionally, but they're nowhere near as habituated as these ones. They don't usually let us get anywhere close to them. I wonder how long it would take to habituate a mongoose family like the meerkats at Tswalu. That'd be interesting to find out. Does anyone know? I'm not sure. Maybe only a few weeks. I guess you'd have to sit near the den like this and just be quiet and wait for them, and then eventually they would allow you to get closer and closer. Alright, so we're going to just sit here and enjoy these elephants passing by to the right and the mongoose sunning to the left.
Wild Earth relies on support from viewers like you to carry on broadcasting our daily live shows. A small donation goes a long way in helping us on our mission to connect the world with nature. Please visit our support page to see how you can help and become part of the Wild Earth family.
We just had to reposition a little bit to see if we can get another glimpse of where this young male is feeding. Now, we're going to try and see if we can get a bit closer to where the face is. But he is very well hidden in this tree, and it's hard to just trying to get a gap in order to see him. But from all the positions we tried earlier, this is probably going to be the best one that we had. Now, for those who don't know the story of what happened here, so yesterday morning, this male, quite a youngish male, just over 2 years old, made a kill on a young female impala. And during the majority of the day, he actually left it on the ground. And I'm quite surprised, because normally the hyenas would quickly pick up the scent, grab the carcass and move away. But he just left it there. But he was still up in the tree to make sure that there wasn't any hyenas that would have come close. Because if there's only one hyena, he might have even been able to chase that hyena. But after a while, he then eventually got down. He took the carcass and he dragged it all the way up into the tree so the other hyenas, or the hyenas, can't get it. And now, slowly but surely, he's feeding off this carcass. And this might even sustain him for at least another day or two, maybe even 3. And then after that, maybe 2 or 3 days, he'll then start looking in to hunt again. But for the next, I would almost be safe to say, for the next 4 or 5 days, at least he'll have enough food. But you can just see that long, beautiful tail, like dangling down the tree. Now, often, if you do look for leopard, you might just find if they are lying down on a branch, that the tail would hang down like that. And it's often a good thing to be able to spot a tail, especially from a distance. I've had it many times where trackers were able to spot a tail, or maybe even a little bit of red in the carcass through quite a dense bush, or maybe a tree with a dense canopy cover, and they're able to do that. But for now, I just want you to listen to, as he's gnawing away at this carcass, you might just hear how he's crunching and actually tearing through some of the bones, tearing through the meat. Now with this tree, it's called a Natal mahogany tree. It has a very dense canopy. And so you might just hear, as the wind is blowing through it, all the leaves that are brushing against one another. And so you might hear the crunching noise, but also a lot of leaves. Now, with some of the trees in the area, they do lose their leaves, but especially this one that's quite close to the river, there's still a lot of leaves on this tree.
Itching, scratching, yoga, dwarf mongoose yoga, it's all happening in front of us right now.
Good afternoon,
A very, very active termite mound. Oh, everybody's itchy. The termite mound itself is old, but it's perfect for dwarf mongoose because the temperatures remain pretty constant all year round inside the mound. So when it's winter, it'll be quite stable and probably warm inside for them. And when it's summer, vice versa. It will be stable, but it'll be a little bit cooler for them. So it remains constant pretty much all year round. So it's like a home with, well, central heating. For those of you that live in cold countries like myself, you will know what central heating is. You can actually set your heating to come on before you wake up. So you wake up to a warm house. But in South Africa, it's more air conditioning units. They didn't really think winter through, and winter can be very, very cold here in cold houses with no central heating. But the dwarf mongoose, of course, they're fine. Their termite mounds are perfect. And I haven't seen a business of mongoose in this mound for quite a while. Every single day I check the mound at Philemon's Dip and the plated lizard is there, but the mongoose are not there. One day, I'm going to get it live for you all. That lovely little interaction of the dwarf mongoose and the giant plated lizard. It's very sweet. Now, moving from hyenas to dwarf mongoose is pretty apt as they're closely related. Darren, you're asking, are mongoose part of the squirrel family? No, they're not, actually. They're quite closely related to meerkats rather than squirrels. And we have many different species of mongoose out here. It's not just a dwarf mongoose that we're looking at right now. They are just the most common one that we see. So mongoose actually belongs to the family Herpestidae. And we have the slender mongoose, the Meller's mongoose, banded mongoose, white-tailed mongoose. So there's actually a lot of different species of mongoose that we find out here. It's just the dwarfies tend to be the most common. They tend to really enjoy the camera. But yes, they belong to the Herpestidae family. Apt climbers. They have maybe about 2 hours left of their day because as soon as that sun starts to set, they'll stop climbing, they'll stop running around and posing on top of the mound, and they'll dive inside. They do not risk being active or being visible as soon as darkness comes. Far too many predators. So they'll be running around now looking for some delicious snacks before darkness comes. So we're going to head to Chitwa today. I fancy seeing what's going on down there, and you guys are going to head across to some duck action at Swallow.
So I was going to do something completely different this afternoon, but then I just thought, because these ducks have just given me so much pleasure, and I'm sure for many of you that's been the same thing. So I just thought, well, let's pop down here this afternoon and spend the RV just watching these little ducklings being as cute as ever. So they're actually feeding. So there's still 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's the other 4 are standing on the banks, these 5 in the water. But it's just watching them foraging like this. So they're going for all sorts of little water organisms, any little aquatic life they'll be feeding on now, and they're going to grow pretty quickly. I think we said the books are saying in about 60 days, 68 days or thereabouts is when they'll be fully fledged. So yes, I'm really hoping that all 9 of them make it, but I just think it's like we pop into the meerkats every now and again. I think it'll just be really, really cool to pop in here and keep tabs on these little guys. And like I mentioned earlier, I think I've got something really, well, not think, I know I've got something really fun for you for next week, but I can't reveal what that is yet. But it is pertaining to the ducks. So what's interesting here is Sheldon, the male, he's the one sitting on the far bank there. But the female flew off earlier. So he will be here shortly, I think. She. She'll be in just now. And if we can get her landing, it'll be quite a fun shot. So what we're seeing, you've got these 2 little ones in the middle of the water over here, and you often get 1 or 2 that swim quite far away from the rest.
So we're still with this elephant herd, and we were watching these. There's 2 or 3 young males here, I think, and they were just all sparring, having a bit of a play fight, pushing against each other, which is very interesting to watch. Remember when these get older? Oh, little one, bit too young maybe to play, but hey, why not? And it's very interesting to watch them because, of course, when they get older, they're going to have to fight with each other to dominate females, or the rights to mate with females. Look at this little one. I also want to kick things around and get aggressive. Look at it. I love watching them try and do stuff. It can't quite break the end of the branch. Oh, it's lost its leaves. Try again. It's just like it. I mean, when I watch my friends' children and the babies are trying to grip things and play with stuff, it's exactly the same. It's amazing to watch. So you see there's been a bit of a rumble now, and this elephants are starting to move, and the youngsters are still playing, but there's going to be a general movement off now. I heard a little bit of a rumbling, which is generally the matriarch saying, okay, enough's enough in this area, let's keep moving. Of course, the children are going to play a little bit. It's getting late in the afternoon. Maybe they've been having a siesta the whole day, and now they want to burn some energy. So there's a lot of activity with the young ones. Still playing, still fighting. This one here might be one of the older females. Maybe one of the ones that's rumbling. Although she's at the back of the group, so probably not. Oh, look at that. A lot of playing still. They actually changed direction completely. So they were heading up. Ooh, big pushing. I don't know. Maybe getting a little bit boisterous there. There's, it's all fun and games till someone gets a tusk in the bum, and then no one's happy anymore. But they've changed direction now. They seem to be heading maybe back in the direction of Leopard Dam. They were heading sort of towards us. I'm going to move forward just a little bit so we can see these young ones still playing a little bit. But yeah, maybe when the matriarch did a rumble there, it was to say, okay, we've been feeding enough, now it's time to go and have a drink. Maybe they're heading back to the dam, which will be great to see them come down to the water. It'll take them a while to get there, so we'll actually do a bit of a loop in the area and see what else is around while we watch these young males have a party.
Welcome to the Nkuhuma Pride here on the Djuma property in the Sabi Sands. We are enjoying a fantastic afternoon. No better way to spend it than with the pride of sleepy lions. My name is David Hancock, and on camera we have Craig, and we are enjoying the beauty of the African bush this afternoon. Just seeing the dynamics of this pride is so interesting. There's been some tussling, there's been a bit of suckling, younger cubs and older cubs on the female. And there's one female that even appears to be in season, so getting lots of attention from the male. At a first glimpse, they appear nice and sleepy, but when you spend a bit of time with them, it soon becomes clear that there's a lot going on in these lion prides, a lot of dynamics and social interaction. Very, very full bellies. If you've been watching in the last couple of days, you'll know that they made a meal of a large Cape buffalo, who has now filled up these tummies. Lots of meat was consumed. Look at that big fat belly. You can also see her teats there from where the cubs have been suckling. Almost rubbed raw around them. I don't expect them to go too far tonight. These full bellies, they have no need to go too far. I'm sure they had water last night. We found them this morning at Twin Dams. So all they have to do now is relax and digest. And I agree with all the viewers, it is a bit contagious. One automatically starts yawning when you spend so much time with lion, and he looks so peaceful. This heat of the day's slumber. Well, I enjoy this relaxing moment, so we're going to send you over to Nikki at Ngala and see what he's up to.
How beautiful is this kudu that's right in the middle of the screen, moving up onto this bank. Now, we're very fortunate in the riverbed, quite close to where the leopard, we saw the leopard earlier on, there's a little patch of water. So these kudus came down to drink. After having a drink, now slowly moving back. Probably going to move into an area where they can start feeding again. But you can see very carefully moving up there, because they never know what could be on the other side of that bank. But it is a beautiful animal, especially seeing it in the sun like that, and how elegant and swift they are on their feet. But notice those ears, how they're pointing back, forward, sideways, looking around. You'll also notice, like, just underneath the tail, there's a little patch of white. Now, often if they do run in a dense area, you might just notice they pick up their tail. So there's just this very bright white color under the tail, so the others can follow them. And as soon as they stop, they just lower their tail again. I agree with all the viewers. This is a very beautiful, or quite a beautiful kudu, especially those big ears. And just the whole way that they move and how easily they can just blend in. So with those markings, they break out the outline of that kudu so well, especially if they do move into denser areas like that. So as that kudu disappears over the bank, let us carry on and see what else we might just find here along the river. Because just to show you more or less where they came from, so right in front of us here, there's a little rocky section in the river. And just on that side of the rocky section, or on the bottom side of it, there's a small puddle of water that's still left. And that's where they were drinking a bit earlier and now started moving away. The other day we saw quite a few times we've seen that the saddlebill stork, especially the male and the female that are close together. But in the meantime, let's carry on. Maybe there's a chance of seeing something else coming down to drink, which I'm hoping for. Oh, there's actually some baboons. I'm going to sit like this. There's a baboon right in front of us, and there's a little baby sitting on top of Mom's back. Well, there's actually two. The one just got off, but just right of that, and I think the sixth baboon off to the right, there's a little one that's riding on Mom's back. Just jumped off. Now, it's amazing to see this sighting, because these baboons are going down to where the elephants dug a little bit early in the water, in the river. And so with the elephants digging, of course, they are opening up the water for the kudus, but also for these baboons to come down and drink. Just watch, this little one got onto Mom's back.